turn the music up, I got my records on. I shut the world outside until the lights come on. Maybe the streets are alive, maybe the trees are gone.
All right, Mr. Fisher, first question. What is a short-term goal that you have for yourself within the year?
Well, I love to do woodworking, and I haven't done much of it lately, so my goal for this year is to rearrange my garage, develop a small woodworking area within my garage.
Very nice. All right. And what is a long-term goal that you have for yourself, maybe within the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, within the next 5 to 10 years, most of you probably know I'm old compared to a lot of you guys students. I'm going to finish my teaching career successfully here at LHC and then possibly find a second career.
All right. And then do you think goals are important? And if you think so, then can you tell us why?
Yeah, goals are definitely important because without goals, you wouldn't have anything to achieve. You'd never be able to move forward, and you'd not feel like you'd accomplished anything with your life.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Oh, you guys are welcome. See you.
All right, Mr. Ashcraft, first question. What is a short-term goal that you have for yourself within the next year?
Well, I'm Mr. Ashcraft, if you didn't know. My short-term goal for myself in the next year is I would actually like to graduate from graduate school and take my administrative license test and just pass it. So that's my big, I guess, year long-term goal is to stay focused on that and just to stay focused on my students. So.
All right. Second question. What is a long-term goal you have for yourself, say within the next 5 to 10 years or so?
Long-term goal, 5 to 10 years. Well, I think there's a couple of things. I'm just going to focus on work. I don't want to get too personal with y'all. I don't know, this could go live, you know. So my long-term goal is that I hope that maybe within 5 to 10 years I would feel responsible and ready enough to lead a building in some sort, whether that be a assistant principal or principal of a school, just because I want to have a greater responsibility with students. So.
Okay. Then last question. Do you think goals are important? And if so, can you tell us why?
Yeah, I think goals are extremely important. I make goals every single day, actually. Actually, the night before I go to bed, I have this awesome app on my iPhone. It's called Day One, and look, it has a reminder on it. I don't know if you can see the 1 there, but that 1 tells me that last night I didn't actually write in it. And so it reminds me of when I should write on it before I go to bed, and I write down the things I want to accomplish the next day, what are my top priorities, and then also like how can I stay focused on my goals. I can go back and look at what my goals were and making sure that I'm staying true to those. So do I think goals are important? Yes. Why? Because without goals you don't have any direction. You need to know where you want to go, not just because you can say that, but because we all want a purpose, we all have something we want to do, and if you don't set goals, daily goals, I'll never get to that big goal. So like this year, for example, I want to graduate. Well, that requires that I do my homework and I do my reading, and I make sure I'm online doing the discussions that I have to do, and that I'm staying connected with classmates. So it keeps me accountable to my long-term goals. So I think goals are extremely important.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Ashcraft. All right, Mr. Black. First question is, what is a short-term goal you have for yourself within the year?
Well, I think a short-term goal I have professionally is to, make sure that we get our school and get our kids doing well on ISTEP so that we can move out of the category that we're currently in and in a sense save our school. So that's kind of a short-term thing, and that's something that over the next couple of months I'm really concentrating on.
Okay. All right, second question is, what is a long-term goal you have for yourself, say within the next 5 to 10 years or so?
Well, I've always, seen myself here become eventually a principal. And I've been here now, this is my 6th year here at Lyndhurst as assistant principal. And, I know there's still a lot of things I need to learn before I make that next, take that next step. But, I can see myself within the next 5 to 10 years, God willing, and things work out, have my own building here in Wayne or in another school district.
Okay. And then what do you think about goals? Do you think they're important? And if you think so, can you tell us why?
I think everybody should have not only professional goals, but personal goals. you know, you're not always going to reach your goals, but I think, you know, part of being a human being in American society is always trying to improve yourself. And, you know, whether you're a student or you're, you know, a young person or an adult, you know, you always should look at your goals and what your, you know, short-term goals are for yourself or your long-term goals for yourself. I think that's something you're always going to change those things as changes in your life dictate that. But, you know, ultimately, if you don't have goals for yourself, you're going to find yourself at times being lost. I think the goals is what keep you grounded and keep you motivated in regards to getting better.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Black.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Lozier, what is your short-term goal for the next year?
Okay, so I have a lot of different goals. In fact, my job, I set goals, and how well I perform on those goals is based on, you know, how I get evaluated, just like grades work, things like that. And that has to do with my job. But what I wanted to talk about today was some personal goals, and these are some workout goals. So I think it's important to continually get better, and that's, to me, what goals are all about. So just to constantly improve upon what you're doing. So this is a specific workout, and the way my workout routines work is that every probably 2 to 3 months, I'll do the same workout again so I can see improvement in those workouts. And this workout's called Fran. And what it consists of is 21, 15, and 9 repetitions of 2 exercises, a thruster and a pull-up. And a thruster, I try to draw a little diagram here, is where you start standing like this, you go into a full squat, and you thrust it up. And so it's a thruster. So the goal for that, for me, was to improve. And I wrote my times of how I've improved over the past 2 years in this exercise. So you're constantly trying to get better in terms of time. So when I first did it, it was like 13:40. 11:28, 8:40, and the last time I just did it a couple weeks ago, I did it in 5:20. Well, where I get my workouts is on a website, and the guys on the website that post these workouts, they do this workout in under 2 minutes. So if you can see where I started and where I've improved to, that's pretty big, but I'm still shooting for my long-term goal to be under 2 minutes, so below 2 minutes. Now, I'm not going to get there in a year. So I think that's probably my 5 to 10 year goal mark. However, I'd like to, start maybe next time, try to get under 4 minutes. I don't even know if I could do that within the next year, honestly. But to constantly get better and improve upon my time. So my short-term and my long-term goal are related to each other, but I got to set my short-term with my focus still on that big picture of the long-term.
Nice. Okay. And then tell us about goals. Do you think they're important, and can you tell us why you might think they are?
Yeah, I think goals are really important because they help you attain those big things you want to do, but they put them in a way that you could focus and you can manage them, and you can say, this short-term goal is going to still go towards that long-term thing. But sometimes if you just want to take on a long-term goal, it looks too big, it feels overwhelming, it may be hard to manage, you may not know all the steps involved in achieving that goal, and by setting those short-term goals, you feel like you're making progress towards that. And I think goals are important to feel that progress, to feel I'm getting better, whether that's at school, whether that's in anything you do, you want to feel like you're getting better at something.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Lozier.